Welcome back to the channel and episode 2.
Oh, almost there.
And this is the episode where things don't go quite as planned. In fact, despite the gorgeous weather, which we have woken up to again, glorious sunshine, I left too late. Simply enjoying the whole event, from breakfast to riding to meeting people, meeting new people. It has been an absolute joy so far. This was a British group that I caught up with on the way, having left far too late for the event. And despite the fact that I was riding like this, I've joined other people for a few moments. I left simply too late. A good hour maybe later than I should have done, which meant everything didn't go quite to plan. We'd already been warned that there were a lot of roadworks, not only on the road to get to the Grossglockner, but actually on the mountain itself. Something that I discovered a little bit later on in this tour, that seems to be everywhere. It didn't stop the enjoyment. Look at the weather. This is like perfect weather for touring. It's a gorgeous temperature, absolutely beautiful riding country. But when you arrive at the gate and see virtually nobody, people leaving, you suddenly realise just how late you've left it. But it doesn't end there. So as usual, I have to stop to put my gloves back on, and it looks like there are more people that have maybe experienced problems or, just like me, left a little bit too late. So now putting my gloves on and pretty much ready to go. So with the realisation that I'm actually too late, and I know there's another 33 kilometres to go to get to the top, I decided to stop whenever I felt like stopping. You realise you're too late anyway, so you might as well enjoy the quiet moments while you get the chance. And it is absolutely beautiful. So, having continued up the mountain, I now realise that I'm now riding behind my breakfast companions. So we must have done a bit of a cat and mouse thing going up the mountain, because I didn't actually see them until this moment. So we've all sort of caught up with each other. But with one pointed finger, the trip takes a different turn. And as much as I realise I'm late already, this was actually a little stop-off that I'd never bothered to do. And so now, I'm now riding with my American/Bulgarian friends, and it is something that I probably wouldn't have done if Anne Griffin hadn't pointed at the summit. We didn't stop long. Literally, it was just to do it, just to say you've done it, and the view up there is pretty amazing, to be honest. But then the next problem happens. We're much later, obviously, than we would normally be. There are a lot more people now on the mountain, and you get situations, panic. Car drivers that seem to have no experience driving bends, and doing it all at nothing miles an hour. The delays just seem to be building to the point where I'm going to be surprised if there's even anybody still up there. We should have done this after getting up to the top plateau. However, things are what they are. You learn from your mistakes. But look at the weather. I cannot believe that this was the year where I did this, because with the weather in a different situation, if it's raining or if it's foggy or low cloud, you would not get this view. So as much as it's all part of the adventure, and the realization obviously you're too late, it's a weird feeling. You're just kind of riding it and I almost not really taking it seriously anymore. I can't believe that with this weather and these views, and that I'm actually riding an event I've ridden 3 times, 4 times beforehand, and this year of all years I got it wrong. And this is really something I'd like to say to all car drivers in this situation. If you ever get yourself into a situation like this, it's a lot less stress for the driver in that car if they let things like motorcycles, etc., go past. Because all it's going to do, if you're stressed out driving in a situation like this with this guy in the white car or women in the white car, it's something you can never see, right? You're looking at what looks like a pretty new car, could be a hire vehicle. You have no idea just how much experience the person behind the wheel has. And it looks like they're a nervous driver. They're stopping in almost every bend because they're not sure about what's coming in the other direction, etc. And it's slow going. It is generally much better just to let people that behind you, just let them go. And your stress will start to drop a little bit. This person is now sort of kind of speeding on the straight bits. So they're very nervous in the bends and not really allowing for it. They should have just let us go. Saying that, I'm too late and obviously a bit more sensitive about it. On a normal situation, I probably would not have worried about this at all. Now it's just pure frustration. So the only thing I've got in my head now is getting to the top plateau as quickly as possible, hoping that there's still going to be somebody up there. Just seems a bit pointless to do the whole thing really and then not be able to take part in the event as it's supposed to be. However, still following the white car, and although he now has the opportunity really to let us go, he still doesn't. And that's just the way it is, you know. Some things you just can't change, and although it's weighing heavy, everybody has a right to be here. And he could have pulled over, he could have let us go, but chose not to do that and just to go for it. But it is a little bit frustrating because there are moments when you want to overtake and it's just not a good idea to do it. So you just have to take a deep breath, realise what you've done. You've messed up, but you've decided that you're still going to try and get to the top plateau, even if it's just to say you've done it. It's not quite what the point is, but there have been so many roadworks and problems, and the fact that I left too late and now I've got people in front of me. It's nobody's fault but my own. The frustration is incredible, seriously incredible. The only consolation really is that it's not the first time I'm at the event, and all the other times have gone absolutely like clockwork. This is just one of those experiences that you will never forget. But life continues, and it's not the end of the world, and it's still better not to take risks or do silly things when you're on top of a mountain, because although now the roads are dry, that's not always the case, and there's very little protection on these mountain passes. If you make a sliding mistake, that could be a heavy mistake, and just one I'm simply not prepared to make. So while I'm sat back now, just kind of trying to enjoy the rest of the ride, knowing that we're actually very close, you don't expect now there to be any further problems in your progress reaching the top plateau. Oh, how wrong we can be. How is it possible? Everything that possibly could go wrong today has gone wrong, pretty much. Including my companions, my breakfast companions, having a few problems with their bikes, having to stop as well because of unforeseen issues. So I'm going for it. I keep losing sight of them. I'm thinking, well, if I stop again, I don't know where they are. If I stop again, I still can't help them. I might be able to get rid of the white car for a bit, but it's not going to get me there any faster. So once you think, right, okay, finally I'm there, what else could possibly go wrong? So finally you reach the entrance that takes you up to the top plateau. And you think, right, okay, I'm there. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go up and finally reached it. There are about 6, I think you go around this parking entrance thing about 6 times to get to the top. It's a big corkscrew. I remember the way I thought about it when I first rode this. It's quite an adventure, all of it. I'd never been anything like this either, not even in a parking place in the Netherlands. So this always brings back memories. But some of the memories you don't want. So, you think you've had all the frustrations of the day, but not quite. Yeah. What do you do?
This one.
So, basically, my big tip is if you're staying in Altmünster and you want to get to the Grossglockner with plenty of time to also to be able to chat to people, not just for the photograph, that's just part of it. Don't leave later than 7 o'clock in the morning. And it sounds ridiculous, but you really do need that time to get there. And this was the year that I discovered that. So now there are a lot of people now waiting to get past this little barrier, and I understand it's there for a reason, but sometimes you just have to do it. You just have to go for it and hope I don't come against anything else coming down. Yeah, you just do it. This is so frustrating, but sometimes you just need to do what you need to do. And hope and hope and hope that you're not going to come across anything else like this. We were this close to the entrance, actually this close, and have to sit there all that time waiting for other people. What a feeling to finally be here and look at the weather. And to be honest, I'm surprised that there are still so many people up here. It's probably because the weather is as good as it is. Still trying to find the stamp thing where you need to get your card stamped, and I can't see it anymore, which is fairly logical, I suppose. So, full frustration. Oops. So, missed that too. The end to a perfect ride. So there's nothing to do but just park up and enjoy 10 minutes of sunshine. And so, as much as everything that could have gone wrong pretty much did go wrong, we all made it up here in the end, and you know that you're just going to have a much more relaxed trip back. The ride back is also gorgeous. You know, you've got this weather and you know it's not going to change between the mountain and Altminster, so you just kind of get this relaxed head on after all the frustrations, and now that you can just ride with all of that out of your head. This is really where the biggest enjoyment comes from, and the views up here are absolutely stunning, and with this weather, how can you go wrong? You know, I'm not going to say that anymore, because things can go wrong. They can go wrong at every moment, and I think probably I have just had a lot of luck in the past, or just better planning. But it is definitely something that you have to learn from. So, for any future events, don't leave late, don't be too relaxed, because things can go wrong on the way, and you just never know when that's going to happen. So, the moral to the story is don't relax. And if you're going to stop for photo moments and things like that, do it on the way back. It really is not worth using that time before you get up to the plateau. And once you're off the mountain, or once you're coming away from the top plateau, there will be 100,000 different opportunities to get photos. Play with drones, whatever you want to do, you know, that's the moment to do it, because you're on the way back, and you can take as long as you like to get back, but that luxury you do not have in the morning. So please take it on board, just get there, and the ride back is relaxed. It's a completely different atmosphere. So there we go. I can't really say it any clearer than that. And for people doing the event in the future, just get up early, get breakfasted, make sure you're fully tanked, and just go for it. Almost back in Altminster. That's the castle from the stamp day yesterday, so you know you're almost back. But look at it, look at the weather, look at the sky, look at the colours. Oh, it is just pure joy. And so with the experience of all the roadworks that I got on the way, I've now chosen a completely different route to go back to Altminster. And this is a different kind of riding experience. And to be honest, this is the best way to see the beauty of Austria. Really. The smaller roads, the quieter roads, and off of the motorways. And that can be said for just about every country I've visited so far. Get off the motorways. Those are the places where you're going to experience the most hold-ups, traffic jams, etc. And when you don't do the motorways, these are the kind of roads that you will be riding on, and it makes the whole experience a completely different one. So it may seem like it's going to take you a lot longer because these roads are the smaller roads, but really they are the ones where all your enjoyment are going to come from. You do not get these kind of views and scenes and the atmosphere of Austria when you're on the motorway. It's quite simple, really. And it's the same principle. It doesn't always actually take longer. Sometimes it just feels like it because you're not going in a straight line. In Austria, a lot of people have learned from that. It feels like actually you've been riding for hours and you didn't get anywhere. And that's because of all of the bends and the thing. But that, to me, is the part of the best, it's the best way to ride. You don't kind of know what's around every corner, and that's part of it, isn't it? I'm sure most of the people that I know that ride actually like getting lost even. It kind of adds to the adventure of not knowing exactly where you're going to end up. And you always have navigation, or I have navigation in my helmet, so you'll always get back again. And that's where the fun starts.